Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Horimiya, which was a recommendation by CJ. Also, it made my wife really excited because she actually liked this show too, apparently. So that's good to know. But before that, we were talking about exercising, getting in shape, losing weight, and how we're both really not mathematically inclined or knowledgeable. So CJ comes to rescue us. Thank you, CJ. We very much appreciate you. If you want to catch a part of that wider conversation, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content and more. Now, on to the me and Brotatoes.
Nice.
Horimiya came out in January 2021 and it ran all the way through April 2021. The number of episodes for it is 13 episodes. Producers for it are Aniplex, Square Enix, Movic, just to name a couple. Studio for it is Cloverworks. The source is a manga. The genres for it are romance, school, shonen, and slice of life and comedy.
So many things to love,
right? Interesting thing. The manga is actually an adaptation of a web comic that is still going on, and also the manga is still ongoing, and they're coming out with a new chapter for the manga as well. So while the anime, I feel, kind of wraps it up, from what I did kind of see, it's still actually kind of going on. So just I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean, they didn't really end it in the show per se. They left it open for a season 2.
They did,
don't you think? Okay.
They gave it a soft closure, I feel, but also at the same time, I would not be disappointed if they kind of just
left it alone.
If they just kind of left it alone. I mean, I feel like it was satisfactory. I feel like it was very well done.
Oh yeah, no, the whole show. Honestly, the whole show was definitely something that I was not expecting. I'm happy I got it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not something I was anticipating being good. I was expecting something similar to like Golden Week, not a triangle / love story / it's a love triangle / love story / love octagon. No fighting. Well, some fighting.
Yeah.
But apparently high schoolers are all oblivious until they're not, and then they're really not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the said could be said, I mean, like the same thing could be said about a variety of other things. One of the things that I really liked about the show, really liked about the anime, is during certain monologue, mainly internal monologue points, you typically had a musical key that kind of clued you into it, and then they changed the background and would show, I guess, kind of like the auras or the mood of the individuals that are talking and doing the internal monologue. But also at the same time, you would see both of them at the exact same times every once in a while, where they would certainly just kind of be, I guess it was kind of to signify that they were in sync.
I figured, so what you're talking about is when somebody's doing an internal monologue, you know how you have a shadow on the ground or right behind you? They would have a silhouette like superimposed right behind them in various colors, and it would either gradually move away or gradually move to them, usually to signify shock.
Not
and
signify
several other emotions.
Yeah, just like whatever internal monologue or emotions that they're kind of portraying. I felt like it was kind of like a way for the creators to signify visually that there is a change going on for them at that point.
I mean, yes, but I also took it as when two people are talking to one another, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got that silhouette. When they're different colors, they're on different frequencies. They're on different understandings. And occasionally you'll see the same color from two different people as they're talking to one another.
Yeah.
And I took that to signify that they were on the same page. Like they understood they were speaking on the level, you know?
Yeah, but I don't ever remember seeing the colors the same at the exact same time. Like they
There was
were
only
always
one time I remember it happened.
Okay.
It was in the later episodes, when the pretend boyfriend and girlfriend were talking to each other.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll take your word on that. I don't remember that. That doesn't mean it's not true because half the time I'm colorblind anyway. So there you go. No, but I liked the relationships and the personal growth that that each character went through, and it was a great story for everyone to kind of come into their own, and it also showed like not everyone's always themselves, and it's hard for people to truly be themselves.
Oh yeah,
no matter where they are, and I feel like the show actually did a really great job, did a really good job in showcasing that. Take the main characters, Miyamura and Hori. They had very particular perceptions made about them. Like Hori was not aggressive. She was very nice, very cool, calm, collected, or anything else. Miyamura was very introverted, very shy. They
emo almost.
Yeah, emo almost. Everyone thought he was an otaku to the extreme, very moe. And in the first couple of episodes, they dispel that entire perception for them. Hori is very family oriented. She takes care of her brother, and she also has a hot temper. She's very physical when it comes to her temper. That she only really showed Miyamura at the beginning, and then Miyamura has a bunch of piercings. He's got a tattoo. He's kind of like rebellious at the exact same time, but he's not an otaku. He likes some anime or he likes manga, but he works in his family's bakery. They have a sweet shop, so the growth for them and how they're growing and how they're doing it, and they showcasing their personality traits, and then it branching off to everyone around them. So it branches off to the friends, branches off to some people that are kind of like off in the distance, but then all of a sudden like they get looped in, and it's not like it's a jarring loop in. Like they reference him, or you'll see him a couple of times in the background, and then all of a sudden they start getting pulled in a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then they become a part of the main story.
What I found to be interesting is that as people are roped in to be part of the main story, you still have a subplot going on where you've got people are growing behind the scenes.
Yes.
And what I really enjoyed about this was the fact that our main characters never stopped evolving.
Yes.
And so I was watching this with my coworker, and I had pulled up another episode of this today, maybe 4 hours ago, just to see what his genuine reaction was. And we were rolling on the floor laughing at certain things, going, "What the hell's going on?" And then he was literally, I'm not even joking, he would say something just off the top, because that's the kind of guy he is. He'll just blurt out as you're watching something or as he's reading something. He'll just blurt out his reaction, and a split second later the other characters had the verbatim word for word reaction he had. Like, what the hell, oh my god. And then, what the hell, oh my god. I'm like, you've seen this before, haven't you? He goes, I swear no. And he did it like 4 or 5 times. Like, for instance, in the main character's couple, she for some reason ends up to like him be more aggressive and physically assertive.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's I loved that scene, right? And I could totally get it for what they were going. So before we get to that, like Miyamura's his personality is very, very prim and proper. It's very reserved in it. And then Hori starts seeing him with with some friends, some guys he knew in high school or middle school rather, and a couple of other acquaintances, and his actions with another friend of his, Toru, and it's like he's very not him,
Gentle.
very not proper, very not reserved. He just like walks up, tells a guy to die, and which I started laughing. It was like, yeah, that seems like something that Rick and I would totally do to each other.
Yeah.
Just drop dead, just like answer calls, like drop dead, and then hang up the phone, just walk off.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, no, I can totally see that. That's something we would totally do. And, you know, Hori just seeing that, she just like, I want that. I want to see, I want him to be like that. She's like,
do it to me.
Yeah, do it to me. Be mean. And just like slaps her. She's all happy, calls her, yells at her. She's super, you know, ready to go.
So the buildup for this one scene, yes, he did slap her, but the buildup is like the previous episode. She goes, "Come on, just one little one, He's like, "I can't do it." He goes, "Come on, just a open hand, barely feel anything, just
a light,
come on,
just a light tap.
Come on,
just the lightest of
you can
taps.
smack me. You can smack me. You can yell at me. You can do this." He's like, "No, I can't do that. I can't." And then these two middle schoolers, well, they're high schoolers now, but they were middle schoolers, approach our guy and just start berating him.
Right, because
he's not doing anything.
Well, he knew them back in middle school, and they always
they're old acquaintances.
Him. Well, I wouldn't call him.
He's not defending himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them acquaintances though. Like they were just bullies. They were punks, pure and simple. Like that's okay. All
they were punks, fair. But they were like berating him, and he was not defending himself at all. And then Hori comes up and it just gives him what for, and like beats the crap out of him, punches him, hits him, all that stuff. And so that now they're scared of her. And so she comes out of the next cutscene is her coming out of a convenience store. Two of the punks are there, and they're talking crap about her. And then they look over, and there she is, and she's looking at them like, "Are you serious? What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're doing community service," that kind of thing. And as she's walking away, our guy comes up, and then they're talking shit about him, and he just smacks the crap out of her. "Who told you this? What are you doing?" Grabs her hand and turns around and storms away. And now they're like, "Oh my God, don't mess with him." Because they just they did a math equation. You know, we're not really good at math, but they did. Where they're like, she kicked our ass, he kicks her ass, ergo he can kick our ass, but he was being nice to us. Why was he being nice to us? And we got it all in their head and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you see them walking away, and it pans back to the couple, and she is glowing.
Oh yeah,
just unbelievably happy, exuberant, satisfied. And you would think the way that these things were set up that she hit him because he was gloomy and she was happy. Right. Whereas like
it was totally opposite. Yeah. Which just speaks to the dynamic and the fun for it. Right. It's like, cause you never know how someone truly is. But it also they also touch on like, is that your kink? Is that what you're really into? Is that what you want? It's like, all right, well, whatever. I mean, like no one here's gonna kink shame. That's cool. Whatever floats your boat, you know. But what's great is there's a episode where there's an after credits scene. Did you see that?
There was only one I found.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Where she quote unquote brands him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But also it's the first time that we've seen like where the high school students or anything like that outside of like the ecchi genre or anything beyond that touched on a physical relationship beyond touching hands and holding hands and kissing, you know. It's the first time where you actually are shown to a degree that they had progressed their relationship to that point.
Yeah.
And so the branding, so to speak, I felt was a funny way to kind of showcase it to show like lightheartedly that they had reached that point.
That level, yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they didn't have it be the main focus of it.
I agree. It wasn't, it was, they danced a very delicate line of what a good story meeting a good dynamic should be.
Yeah.
And I've seen it where you've got a good story and you've got a good dynamic, but they completely they fuddle everything up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, I felt like instead of being at a disadvantage or one pulling away from another, it enhanced it. And the fact that it was an ever evolving group, where the intermingling of relations was rather confusing at times. I'm not gonna lie. But as convoluted as it was, I feel like the way they told it, eventually you'd follow. You know what I mean? Eventually you'd pick up pieces and, oh, this goes here, this goes, oh, okay, they're with this is why they did that. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And you realize it's a good story. The problem is it's usually at the end of the episode that everything kind of folds together and you're like, oh, gotcha, that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a unique version, a unique way to tell a story.
It is.
That was quite interesting.
It is. And they didn't necessarily make it hard for you to follow, right? While the stories were connected all to each other, it's also easy for you to kind of pick up a little bit on what's going on from the storytelling as well. So it's not like it's a hard story to follow. It's actually very easy, and it's not a high intense emotional story, especially for a slice of life. It's typically a lot of the slice of lives that we've seen, at least for the podcast, is like it's very high emotion, high intensity. Like your heart is going to be ripped out of your chest and you're going to weep like no tomorrow type of deal. And this was very not that. This was lighthearted. It was joyful. It was funny, but it also was serious at the points it needed to be. The growth of the dynamic for the relationship from where they were just acquaintances to friends to boyfriend, girlfriend, all the way through the progression for the relationship and the relationships of the friends and everyone around them is just, it's great. And then also at the same time for him showcasing his true depth of character, because while everyone can say whatever they want about him, it's more so like the second they start having an issue with her or talking about her, he has this overwhelming urge to protect her, which is,
and he does,
which is great. I mean, like it shows that, hey, you know what, I can totally take care of myself, and that's not a problem. But when it's
not a one-way street.
Yeah, but it's not, and it's not. And I love that they showcased that. I love that they made him a very enduring character, that he wasn't the typical male protagonist.
How many protagonists do you think were on here? Because I felt it was more than just the two.
It mainly focused on the two. And the reason why I say that is because of the name of the show.
I mean, it does hint at who the star of the show is, if you just read the name.
But the supporting characters do play a pivotal and large role in their growth as well. One of the other things that I found really funny is the friend Toru and Miyamura, you know, them being friends. So Toru, when he confessed to Tori, or not, sorry, when Toru confesses to Hori turns him down, and she's talking to Miyamura about it. He's like, well, yeah, no, he's not a bad looking guy, you know, or, yeah, no, he's cute. It's like, wait, you swing that way? And they never confirm or deny it. They just, everyone's imagination starts running wild with it because of the interactions and the viewpoints. It's like, oh, this is unbridled love. We get to stay together and everything like that. Or, oh, he's asking him out. And just like the constant jokes is like, are they going to be a thing? Like, and it accelerates to the point to where Hori turns to Miyamura and just flat out tells him, look, if you leave me please just don't leave me for a man. Just leave me for another woman. I can handle you leaving me for a woman, just not a man. He's like, all right.
Hilarious. She was like, don't have to worry about women. It's the men I have to worry about.
And I love the fact that the next scene, he's like, I can't hang out with you guys anymore. And I'll just have to hold it when we go to the bathroom now. I'll just have to go when I get home. And he backs away. And everyone's just like, what the hell's going on? Like,
yeah.
Is this for real? Is this happening?
Is this the real life or just a fantasy?
Right? So I love that they have that kind of lighthearted comedy, and the reactions with the characters and the interactions between the characters was just great. And then you just add on the music and the very mellow soundtrack and the mood for it. It just makes for a really great, relaxing experience.
Yeah. Very easy to watch too. I was very surprised.
Yes.
The episodes didn't feel that long, I guess, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I loved it, but there was a few of them I was like, wow, I just barely started it and now I'm 20 minutes gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely flowed really easily. There was not a point to where it felt like it was dragging. It certainly was it felt like it just started and now it's already over. This kind of sucks. I wish there was more to it, type of thing.
I mean, there might be eventually season 2.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could read the manga.
Well, I mean, like if that were the case, like I said, from what I was reading, the manga, from what I was reading, I think is still in high school.
Well,
so
how many years of high school are they going to go through?
Well, they only covered like one actual full year of high school. So I read a little bit of the manga and everything like that. I'm not going to get into details, but there's a lot of like extra fluff and extra things that are going on instead of it just focusing on them too heavily like the anime did.
Yeah.
So
for lack of a better way to put it, and I've been trying to think about this for a minute, but for lack of a better way to put it, this anime is extremely well-rounded. It doesn't excel at particularly anything, but it doesn't fall back.
Right.
And the world building that it does, it's again bland but decent. It's detailed, but it doesn't go into extreme detail. Like, we still don't know what Hori's dad did, right?
Yeah, we just know that he's like, they're asking him, when are you going back to work? Why are you still here? Which is hilarious. But also,
and you only ever get to see his eye in a cutaway.
Right. Yeah, and we don't even know if that's what he really looks like or if that's just how Miyamura is picturing him looking, you know? But also, I love how the progression of the relationship, it moves to, we don't care about you, Hori. We want to see Miyamura. Like, he's coming over, right? Yeah, we don't care if you're here for Christmas. We want to have our boy here. We want Miyamura here. We want our guy.
Yeah, and the dad and the brother, who I would argue is probably the best wingman I think I've ever seen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that CJ in the chat said the exact same thing. And honestly, I'd have to agree. Keeps him coming back. Hey, you should totally come back, bro. You should totally come back. Come around, man. Cool. Let's hang out. It's great.
That is a big hell no. There's a great big no. Not going to happen. But
I mean, honestly, we could keep going on with the
we could probably isolate each individual couple and the pros and cons and whatnot, but that might get a little tedious.
Poppycock.
So instead of going into depth on each one, which, aside from the main characters, which couple was your favorite?
Yeah, it's a tall order for you to ask, man. If I had,
which couple was the least favorite?
The couple that didn't exist. Those bastards. How dare they not be progressed?
Are you talking about Toru?
No, I'm talking about the couple that didn't exist in the anime.
Oh.
We're gonna go with
time traveling grandchildren.
Yeah, exactly. Those bastards.
My favorite outside of the main characters was the class president and the Remy, mainly because Remy referred to herself in the third person, and she was a cute character. She was drawn to be rather adorable, but ditzy. And I'm not gonna say ditzy to a fault, but like she was trusted to open the windows. That was her job on the student counselor board, to open windows. That's it. She couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And when she was tasked with something,
to be fair, I mean, like, we don't know the full extent of everything that she was tasked with. We just know that she's, the
character seems to have a very, very high EQ, but a rather mediocre to low IQ. Do you know the difference between those two?
Well, I know what IQ is, but I've never heard EQ.
So EQ is something I recently found out about. EQ is emotional Q, whatever the Q stands for.
Okay.
Whereas it's intelligent quiz. No, that's not it. What does IQ stand for?
See, now you're just...
Sorry. No, I'm off on a tangent. This is going to go on you. Sorry, 1 second. IQ definition.
Let me tell you about the difference. Hang on while I Google the difference.
Oh, intelligence quotient. Okay. EQ is emotional intelligence. I don't know why there's a Q there. That's weird. Sorry. I know I got off on it. I'm sorry. So yeah, her emotional intelligence, or potentially her emotional awareness, is leagues above everybody else. I don't know if it's just because she's been in many relationships or if she was just infatuated. I noticed that the president didn't really think she was gorgeous or hot or anything. He was just like, yeah, she's normal. She heard it and she was like, that's my man's. I need that. He thinks I'm normal. I need that in my life.
No, it's not just that. Like, they focused on an entire episode of
how the relationship started,
and how she actually thinks of him. So it's not.
Oh yeah, no, she's not as ditzy as we originally think. It still doesn't, I would say, excuse her ditziness, seeing how she started everything. I think she kind of regressed because the person we knew up until that origin story or origin review, whatever you'd like to call it, very irresponsible person.
Well, she's still very irresponsible. So that never changed. Like, she was still like that. It's just a matter of our perception of her changed a little bit after we got a deeper understanding of her views and how she actually sees people. When they gave her more than just like 2 or 3 lines to say, more than a second of scene time, that's when we got to truly understand her better. And the same could be said for the other characters. It's like, at first you're given a very light overview for it, no real depth. But when they started focusing on them a little bit more and they started touching on it a little bit more, that's when the growth really started happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe that was the way that the directors or whatnot were able to guide the story in such a satisfactory direction or unfurling. So
yeah. No,
it was done tastefully, and I've never seen it done like that before, personally.
Right. Yeah. No, and the one thing that I'd have to say that I really, really enjoyed, just real quick, is the consistent growth for everyone.
Yeah, no one remained stagnant. It felt like they were pushing each other.
Yes. It was it was really well done. And this is something that I could watch easily again, no problems in doing that. Like, I would have an easy time actually watching this again.
I guess I could say the same. Maybe watching it a second time, knowing what I know, things might become different, like a Sixth Sense kind of thing.
Right.
But I wouldn't hold my breath too hard on that.
Right.
So,
all right, sir. I feel like this is a great spot for a rating. So on a scale of up to 10, as tradition would dictate, how would you rate this, sir?
Well, depends on how far back in tradition you go.
Since the beginning of time for this podcast.
Okay, so scale of 1 to 5.
Right.
But I'm allowed decimal points.
No.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a solid 8. There were some things that I felt were unresolved. There were some things that I felt could have been better. But like you said, I'd watch it again, and I would encourage others to watch it too.
Yeah.
So it's very light. It's like cheesecake without the calories.
Oh, I love cheesecake.
I like cheesecake a lot.
Cheesecake. I haven't had it in so long.
Yeah, I don't envy you. I like the way you look, don't get me wrong, but I do not envy how you got it. And you?
I'd give this a 9. I would love to see a little bit more resolution. I would love to see more. Like I would love more, a longer series, so that way I can get a little bit more resolution from the side characters, so that way I can get a little bit more information on them. I mean, like, granted, I could read the manga. I'm lazy. I'd rather just watch the anime. Thank you very much.
100%.
That's my want.
100%.
That being said, I mean, like, there's not too much in terms of issues that I have with it. I checked it out, the couple of episodes in both subs and dubs. I found them both really, really well done. I did notice language differences, so script differences. So there is going to be some differences in translations in between the two. So, but it's not going to deter me from it. And that's, so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
Next
I'm gonna
week,
stick with my 7. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I thought you said 8.
I think I said 7.
Positive you said 8.
We'll have to take another look at it, because I'm pretty sure it was a 7, because there was so many things that I could have done wrong or better. But
even CJ says he's pretty sure you said 8.
I got it up. Okay. No, I'm kidding. See, CJ, autocorrect. I meant 7. But if you think it's an 8, I'll go with 8. Pretty sure I said 7, but yeah, I'll go with an 8.
We'll go with the score that you originally said, and you can listen back to that for that one.
Jeez.
Yes.
So
next week we're going to be watching Noir.
Any numbers to it?
Huh?
Any numbers to it? No, Noir 2, Noir 93.
No.
Nope. Okay.
No, start watching it now, so that way we can record at a decent time next week, because it's 26 episodes long.
It's how many?
26.
Yowza. Okay.
If you want to catch some of our pre and post content, or if you feel like we got something right or wrong or anything like that, go to featuredanimepodcast.com. All our contact information and everything like that's going to be there for you. All of our contact information and everything is going to be listed there. If you want to catch some of the pre and post content that we usually do, patreon.com/featuredanimepodcast, $1 a month. They'll get you access to that bonus content. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. We'll see you next time.